Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Josh Kelly, and I just wanted to talk with you about spiritual attacks that no one talks about. These are the spiritual attack stories that have nothing to do with being dragged into hell and fighting off an army of demons or being chased around a fire by a witch casting spells. Though I believe in those stories, that there are very real stories that happen with people and their lives and their spiritual walk. So I'm not knocking those. I'm just going to leave that for everybody else to talk about. And I'm also not going to talk about sickness, disease, and that kind of thing because, yes, I believe those are definitely spiritual attacks, but everybody else is already talking about those. I want to talk with you about simple things that we overlook that are spiritual attacks in my opinion. The first being distraction. A lot of us do not think that distractions are always sent by the enemy. I believe that if it is taking our eyes off of God, then it is a distraction. And I believe that the enemy will actually send distractions so that he can hope to take our eyes and attention off of Christ, and we put them on this other thing, whether it be a circumstance in life, a situation, whether it be something financial, whatever it is, whatever we know that we need in life, even if it's a good thing, it can still be something sent by the enemy to take our eyes off of Jesus. And we see this when Satan tempted Jesus in the wilderness. He used good things to hopefully distract Jesus, which we all know that didn't happen. The second thing that I want to talk about that no one talks about is emotional influence. The enemy will influence our emotions as much as he can, hoping that we act or react a certain way that is out of character. And why does he want us to do this? Well, one, if we act out of character and we fall under this influence of anger, and we overreact in this, normally we're hurting other people when we act out in anger. Another emotional influence could be like sadness. If something happens in our life and we have a right to feel sad about, if he can influence us to overreact or be overwhelmed by this, then maybe this sadness can turn into depression, and maybe this depression can stick with us, and ultimately we can hurt ourselves or still seclude ourselves from people, which is another thing that the enemy wants us to do. He wants us to be secluded away from people. And that's just a few examples of emotional influence. But I believe that he ultimately wants to influence us to act certain ways based on our emotions, ultimately to distract us from looking at Christ. The third thing is not really a spiritual attack. It's just something that we do, and that's making bad decisions. Sometimes it's not a spiritual attack in our life, and it's actually just a result of us making a bad decision. You know, the whole kingdom principle of you reap what you sow. Well, if you're sowing bad seed, you're going to reap a bad harvest, right? If we're sowing good seed, we're going to reap a good harvest. So we have to understand that decisions that we make come with consequences. And those consequences could either be rewarding or they could be death, right? So if we're making bad decisions because we're not listening to God, we're not following the steps of the Lord, and we're distracted or we're emotionally influenced to make a bad decision, then most of the time those bad decisions have bad consequences. I wanted to keep this short. I hope this kind of helps you out a little bit. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section. I will be sure to answer whatever I can. I just wanted to talk about 3 simple things in our lives that the enemy loves to use. And that's, he loves to distract us, he loves to influence our emotion, and he loves watching us make bad decisions. So do not be distracted. Keep your eyes focused on the Lord. Keep your emotions in Christ, and only make decisions that are good and positive for you and your friends and family around you.